Oh, one of my favorite times of the day is to always open up the show with big sales. Welcome aboard the National Football Show. And by the way, next 4 hours powered by our friends at BetUS. Now, I'm going to say this to you guys right out of the gate. Some of you sit back, relax, listen. That's what the majority of you do. By the way, just so you guys know, the amount of people that are in the chat is not an indictment on how many people actually view the show throughout the next 4 hours. It's kind of like call-in radio. That's not how you're gauged. Some of you, and majority of you, like to sit back and watch. No problem. When I did radio for 27 years, people sat back and watched. Look at Sue right out of the gate. We know this. Duh. Hey, Sue, not everybody's as smart as you. Hey, Candy Pants, not everybody is as smart as you. How you doing? Flexing, Howie can't stop us. By the way, right out of the gate, please hit the like button. You assassinated the like button yesterday, and we appreciate that so much yesterday. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like that, Candy Pants Sue. Thank you very much. Smash that like button. How you doing? All super chats go to the top. What a freaking duo last night. Wow. By the way, hold on for a minute. Paris Campbell got cut. Holy cow. What a sensational player. Oh my God. Oh my God. Paris Campbell? Okay, sure. Campbell's soup got cut. He got cut. So what? Who cares? He stinks. Did you see that duo last night? Holy cow. How about you, Candy Pants Sue? Did you see that? Did you see that duo, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry? Boy, man, I wish Philadelphia had a duo like that. I wish Philly had a duo like that. Man. Two-time MVP. A Hall of Fame running back. Man. Unbelievable. Derrick Henry, the last 5 games, has just absolutely assassinated the league. Dude, you can't stop that guy. You know what you call that guy? What was that guy's name that was in Pulp Fiction when they came in and they had to clean the body up after the kid they accidentally shot? What was Harvey Keitel's nickname that John Travolta and the other guy named? What was Wolf? Wolf. Hey, Kim, what'd I tell you? I'd follow you back over at Dan Sileo Show. Big Sills keeps his word, doesn't he? How you doing? How about that, man? Wolf. Wolf. Hey, thank you, Akbar. That dude's a closer. When you need something cleaned up, you call the Wolf in. Yeah. Imagine comparing Jalen Hurts to Lamar Jackson. Hilarious. Way better runner and passer. Really? And then the other guy, still Saquon. I had a guy on my Twitter page actually tried to tell me that Saquon Barkley's in the same room with Derrick Henry. He's never been. Derrick Henry's played on shitty teams too. That guy is unbelievable. He is really unbelievable. Derrick Henry looks better. By the way, what a subtle shot last night by Troy Aikman at the Cowboys. Hey, you know, I bet there's some teams right now that are kicking themselves for not signing that guy. And he was talking about the Dallas Cowboys. By the way, Eagles got their guy. Barkley's having a great year too. 2 best backs in the NFC. Make no mistake about it. Probably are Alvin Kamara, or no, Aaron Jones up in Minnesota. And you could make the comment that Saquon Barkley is the top running back in the NFC, and probably so. and the top running back in the AFC is clearly Derrick Henry. He's not only the best in the AFC, he's the best in football. He is the best in football. Okay? Best. I got Eagles NFC champs. That's a fucking pipe dream. Your quarterback stinks. You need a better QB. You don't have a quarterback that's a championship quarterback that's going to put you in that game every year. He's not that guy. 2000 opinion till you prove me wrong is a fluke. Until I see more consistency, it's a fluke. Get this. I don't think the Bucs are done. I think the Bucs ran into the best team in the league. There's not a team in the NFC that could beat the Ravens. That's not what. Hey, the Bucs fucking kicked the shit out of you. So are you done? They beat the shit out of you. Before you start talking, yeah, well, they did it without our guys. It didn't really matter in the Cleveland game now, did it? It didn't really matter, did it now? All right. Well, hey, yeah, that's a good call there. Evans and Godwin, you're right. That's going to play a factor in their future going forward. Absolutely. War of attrition. It's a good take. Hey, M. Reyes, help me out here. What is the betting line? What is the betting line? By the way, hey, KCA Eagle, you're right. Godwin and Evans, that's a big deal for the Bucs. You're right. That's a big deal. That's a big deal, man. Okay? It is. No question about it. We need to beat a team above 500 with effort, even if it's 24-23. Show no giving up. 2023, they gave up. Hey, I'd like to know what the betting line is on that Cincinnati game before we move forward here, because, again, that's going to be interesting here. By the way, kudos to Jonathan Gannon. Kudos, man. 4-3, or excuse me, 3-4 on the season. They beat the Chargers last night. Shane Steichen's 4-3. I don't know. These two guys are building programs in places that got horrible owners. Wow. Hold on. Really? The point spread's only 2.5? LAC 215? The point spread is 2.5 against the Bengals? 2.5. Oh, that kind of goes into our topic today. By the way, we'll break down Nick Sirianni, Vic Fangio, and also Kellen Moore. We'll take a look at those 2024 Cincinnati Bengals. Wait a minute. The Eagles are 2.5-point underdogs against the Bengals? That can't be. You're reading it wrong. No way. No way. First 10 minutes for likes. Hey, guys, please do me a favor. I'm Ron Burgundy here. Please hit the likes. Please hit the like button. Let's get the show off going. By the way, the more you hit the like button at the beginning of the program, the more it sticks it to the Eagles and Howie. Remember that. Okay? That's what I've been told by Xander. Okay? The more you hit it, it aggravates them more because that means you're here. So please hit the like button right out of the gate here. All right? So wait a minute here. The Bengals aren't favored, are they? Austin, what up, man? Appreciate it. Lamar's the second best quarterback in the NFL. Lamar's playing the best quarterback in the NFL, and he might be the second best quarterback. Okay? Can't be. Wait a minute. Anthony, are the Eagles underdogs in this game against the Bengals? Xander, is that right? Is that right? No. That can't be. That can't be. Can't be. Lamar MVP season again. Hey, he may go back to back. Get this. Struggle. Here. Who said that? Bengals struggled against the Giants. They also almost beat the Ravens. They almost beat the Ravens. As a matter of fact, the team that's been close to them, okay, the Bengals probably played the Ravens outside of that Kansas City win in the opener, probably better than any team has played them. Yes, the Eagles are 2.5-point dogs to Joe Burrow. Woo! Holy cow. Cincinnati, 2.5. Xander, come on, man. The shitty Bengals are favored over the 4-2 Eagles? How can that be? This is incredible. This is incredible. Hey, Candy Pants Sue, what do you make of that? Come on, man. Holy cow. Bengals not shitty. Oh, why? Because they're favored? Yeah, man. Whoa. Look at Dick Train. Look at Dick Train sliding on the cannoli here for a guy who sucks. I like it. I like it. All right. Let's move on. Eric Allen, the legendary Philadelphia Eagle, as promised, will be on at 3:30 Eastern time. So if you got any questions for the great Eric Allen, that'll be at 3:30 Eastern. At 4:30, our boy, the co-host of Birds 365, and John McMullen is even saying has been Sileo-ized. Xander Big Z Krause will join us as well. As I say, super chats go to the top. Hey, Sills, last 2 wins have been against teams that have good defenses and bad offenses. So does that make a difference, or is it more about Hurts? 34, I'm gonna say this, and there's gonna be 2 sides of this answer to you, and I hate giving you 2 answers here. I don't give a shit who lines up against Philly. Go win games. Okay? Sometimes they're not going to look good. Sometimes they're not going to look bad. Just put a W up. Like, get this. The Jets can't do things like that. They can't win games. The Eagles win games. You win games. And there's no way you've played a great football game against the Giants. I mean, look, one guy had a great game. The rest of you guys didn't really play all that well on offense. A couple guys in the offensive line in the second half. Nobody played a complete game in that game except for Saquon Barkley. Offensively, wasn't like Hurts had a great game. Wasn't like anyone else had a great game. AJ was okay. It was a good game for him. I mean, outside of that, nobody played well. Shit, the other guy on the other side had -2 yards in receptions. Give me a break. The defensive guy stepped up against a football team that sucks. Okay, you did your gig. Great. By the way, I love the way that Vic Fangio talks about his defense. Okay? I do. I just love the way he keeps everything in perspective. Guys, please hit the like button. It's important to get out of the gate. It jams it in everybody's face from what I've been told. The more likes we get out of the top of the program. So please do me a favor. Crush that like button. I'm not surprised they're favored. I am a little bit, Anthony. I don't believe that the Bengals are 500 and the Eagles are 4-2 and they're not favored in this ball game. We haven't beaten a good team. Green Bay and a good quarterback. Yeah, Jordan Love is good in almost a year. Nah, man, that first game, Packers are playing good ball right now. Okay? I mean, okay? Right? So, yeah. I mean, Green Bay's good. Packers are a good football team. All right, let's start the program off and get into the topics. As I said, Sirianni, Fangio, and more are on the docket today. The 2024 Bengals are also on the docket. Let me take a look at a poll I did at Dan Sileo Show. Let me take a look at this. I want to see where we are with this right now. I did a poll on Jordan Davis. Okay. Here was my poll question. Eagles DT Jordan Davis only had 12 snaps versus the Giants Sunday. And very little production at all, if any. After 3 years, is he a first-round bust? Now, notice the way I'm phrasing that. Is he a first-round bust? Yes or no? I think he is. I don't think he's an NFL bust. Okay? I don't think he's an NFL bust. But I think he's a first-round bust. Two things can be true here. He can be a good player, but he's not going to be an exceptional player. Not yet. And I put that, not sure yet. Good. Jordan Davis will be rested up for second half of the season. That's wishful thinking, Perez. Are you crazy? If anything, he'll be out of gas. Davis isn't unplayable, but we could have had Kyle Hamilton, not worth 13. Here's the deal with him. He's now in rotation. Dude, if you're a first-round pick, should you be in a rotation? Not to get the majority of the snaps? Dude, Aaron Donald wasn't rotated. Your top line defensive tackle, Chris Jones isn't rotated. They may rest. Dude, those guys get rest, not rotated. There's a difference. When you have a top line, top flight defensive tackle like a Dexter Lawrence, he's not being rotated. He's being rested. There's a difference. Please hit the like buttons, guys. It's important for us to get out of the gate strong, and I appreciate you guys. I mean, he's a rotation piece. Until proven otherwise, on October 22nd, we got to say it. Jordan Davis has been a first-round bust. Not an overall NFL bust, but he's trending there. See, that's how it goes. Where were you drafted? Okay, has he lived up to that? No. Okay, so obviously he was overdrafted. It's 3 years, folks. Folks, this is 3 years. We're not talking about 3 games. It's 3 years. It's enough. Okay? I mean, you know what it is. You can't compromise it anymore. Could he get better? I don't know. He doesn't have the skill set to get better. But still, look at the athlete he is. That doesn't mean he's a good football player or he's an exceptional football player. You could dominate in college with athleticism. You've got to dominate in the NFL with skill. That's the difference between college and pro. Athleticism can dominate. Look at Johnny Manziel. Look at Tim Tebow. You could be a great athlete in college and win. When you get to the NFL, you have to have a skill set. And if you don't have that skill set, you're not going to succeed in the NFL. There is an absolute difference. You have to have the skill. That's why in college people go, how come that quarterback didn't translate into the NFL? Well, because he didn't have the skill set to do that. He was a great athlete in college. Yeah, but how does that not translate? You've got to be able to make plays. That's the difference. Okay? See what Sills, the 2.5 line for shows that Vegas says the Eagles are inconsistent 4-2. And the Bengals are a good 3-4 team. Vegas values the Bengals' losses more than the Eagles' wins. That's good. Absolutely. This is the one time I agree. Sileo, a career backup, talking about skill. Yeah. Have you ever failed in the NFL? Then shut your fucking mouth, Jay. You would have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You play in your backyard with your jerk-off friends. And you guys play touch or flag football that you take your ties off when you're sitting there and break, when you go to work and you have lunch break. And you take your ties off and you play flag football. What would you possibly know about failing and succeeding in the NFL, dickhead? Go put your tie around your waist like you do and go play some flag football with your jerk off friends at break. It's easy. I'm sure you're there at a nice sales place. Triggered? No. Dude, that would mean I respect you for you to trigger me. Only people that trigger me are people I respect. Why would I respect you? Why? Why in the world would I respect a guy with no picture and J? J for jerk off. Why in the world? Now go play with your boyfriends and go play your little flag football. Take your ties off, wrap them around your waist. I guarantee you, if Sue was out there, she'd knock the shit out of you with a blindside punch. How you doing? Go get him, Sue. Hit the like button. Keep that jerk off in the corner over there. There you go. Welcome aboard, Jay. Welcome aboard. I'm playing Sue at free safety. And a jerk off like Jay comes running through the line of scrimmage. Sue's going to decleat him in heels. 6 inches, too. How you doing? Sue knocks Jay out in 6-inch heels. What? And she stands over him like she's Chuck Bednarik. Get up, bitch. Go get him, Sue. That's the kind of people we have here at the JAKIB Big Sills National Football Chat. Sue goes, I don't wear heels. Oh, damn it. Damn, Sue. I do. Every dude looks good at the combine. His tape was good. Tape was good. Not great. He had very little production. On top of that, his weight issue isn't a good combo. How he reached on an athlete, not a game-changing defensive tackle. Williams has outplayed him. Absolutely. Milton has really had a nice year so far, too. Absolutely. Has had a really nice year. Hey, no, man. You kidding me? Sue's a starter on my defense. Put Sue back there. She's going to knock people out for me. She's going to be Ed Reed. She's my Ed Reed. Sills, would you try to trade Ford before the deadline? Doesn't have to be a big name. That's Samuel. A trade before the trading deadline doesn't have to be a big name. I'd like to get more help at D tackle. Okay? I'd like to get more help at D tackle. All right. So listen. Let's go here with Jordan Love here. Okay? Let's go here with Jordan Love. Or excuse me, with Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is a first-round bust. Okay? Okay? So he's a first-round bust. All right, let's move on here. Oh, by the way, our top 10 quarterbacks, our top 10 NFL teams, our MVP candidates are today as well. So we'll be doing that. God, yeah, Derrick Henry's a beast. Damn. What a great football player that guy is. All right. Let's get into Nick Sirianni. I went back and listened to his press conference. Word salad champion. You know what? If he wasn't going to be a football coach, which he's not anyway, he would be a local congressman or like somebody that serves on a local high school parent committee. That's what he would be. Because he really does do a good job when it comes to word salads like politicians do. You know what I'm saying? He'd be some councilman that deals with like the homeless or some shit like that or whatever. And he'd be on a council for like outhouse urinals or whether or not dudes and chicks should be able to urinate in the same toilet. That's the kind of guy he'd be. He'd be legislating on shit like that. You know, that's the kind of guy Sirianni would be. He'd be great at it too, because you don't know what he's talking about. Most of the time, I really don't know what most politicians are talking about anyway. So I'm like, yeah, okay. Jason, thank you, brother. All super chats go to the top. Please hit the like button. What up, Sills and Jacob family? I think we still need to wait and see on Jordan Davis, but he's concerning for sure. I think Sidney Brown needs to be on the field. Gardner Johnson holding him back for sure and stealing money now. Gardner Johnson has been a complete disappointment so far. Okay? Get this. Here's Jessica. Sirianni's got a 667 winning percentage. That's 14th highest in the NFL. And watch this. I'll ask her. So, Jessica, would you take Nick Sirianni over Andy Reid with his win percentage in Philadelphia? Is that what you're saying? You would take him over Andy Reid then because of his win percentage. Is that right? I'd like to hear what Jessica thinks of that. Hey, that's really great. First 20 minutes, you got 140 likes. Way to go, guys. Keep it up. Jessica, you would take Andy Reid. You would take Nick Sirianni over Andy Reid then, right? Is that right? It was time. No, Jessica. I'm not asking you to expand the question. Would you take Nick Sirianni's got a higher win percentage than Andy Reid? Would you take Nick Sirianni over Andy Reid? He's got a higher win percentage. Simple question. Yes or no? I'm waiting. Well, Jessica's going by win percentage here. I mean, he's got a higher win percentage than Chuck Noll. Would you take him over him too? How many years in the NFL can say that right now? That's not the fucking question, Jessica. Would you take Nick Sirianni with a 667 win percentage? And get this. Here's that dickhead, BJ or LJ. And yet, get this. 4-2, and you're underdogs to the Bengals. How you doing? Just like Bob said, Vegas puts more on the losses of the Bengals than the wins of the Eagles because they've made the Bengals favorites by 2.5. How you doing? 2.5. You're an underdog. Jessica, so you're going to take Andy Reid or you're going to take Sirianni over Andy Reid. Is that right? Okay? You're going to take him? Yes or no? Wait a minute. Hey, by the way, let's go to Jessica's point here. Winningest coaches in NFL history. And let's see how many coaches she would take Nick Sirianni over. According to her style here with win percentage. So we'll go with that. With her win percentage. Because he's got a 667 win percentage. So let's go with win percentage. So let's go all the way down to the very top. And according to Jessica, this is who she would take Nick Sirianni over because he's got a 667 win percentage in the NFL, and he's got the 4th highest of all time right now in pro football history. So here's who she would take over. Let's see. 667. Okay. He would take him over Tony Dungy, Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, Mike Tomlin, Paul Brown, Joe Gibbs, Sean Payton, Bill Walsh, Tom Landry, Sean McVay, Mike Holmgren, Pete Carroll, Don Coryell, Bill Parcells, Chuck Noll. That's her mentality because he's got the 4th highest win percentage of all time. Okay? 4th highest. Nick can go to any team, and I would not fear Philadelphia playing him next year. He brings nothing to the playbook. You want to hear something else too, Bleed Green? Colin Cowherd today on the program goes like this. The guy who's on one of the hottest seats in the NFL is Nick Sirianni, because you know why? He doesn't know what his fucking job is. The national guys are making fun of his ass. National guys are making fun of him. Think of that. It's incredible. Hey, LJ, please keep posting. You help the algorithm. Your takes blow out loud. And like Xander said, you have nothing, and you're the Nick Sirianni of posters. You bring nothing except your presence, which we thank. And we thank you. Other than that, you bring nothing. The only thing you're here to do, and we want you to do, is keep posting. Post away. I don't really care what you say. Please do it. You help us. No one's reading your shit. All I see is LJ, and I know it's dumb. I don't read your stuff. I don't care. But I love the fact that you're posting away. Continue. Thank you. I'll never read another thing that guy posts. As long as I see him in here, I love it. Thank you, dude. All right. Let's move on. Hey, encourage him, by the way. By the way, JAKIB Nation, his takes suck and they mean nothing. This guy would take Nick Sirianni over Andy Reid. He said it. So he really doesn't have anything to offer. But what he does offer is he'll post probably in an hour, 50 posts, which helps us. Thank you. In my head. Dude, you are under the impression I care about you. Really fucking funny, man. Absolutely hilarious. Hey, Lou, thank you. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it. Please hit the like button, mother effers. Thank you very much. All right. We're going to get to all that here in a second. Hey, by the way, okay, don't worry. I'll get around all the stalkers that come in here each and every single day. There's a bunch of them, as you can tell who the stalkers are. So we'll get around the stalkers, and we'll make sure that we get your takes in, and we'll start reading them here. All right. How many people think this game on Sunday is going to be a challenge versus the Cincinnati Bengals? Okay. How many people think this game's going to be a challenge on Sunday? Huge challenge. Absolutely a challenge. Best quarterback they've faced all year. Would you not agree? Charlie says very tough game. Gabe, absolutely. It'll be a challenge. It's in Cincinnati. Arthur. That's right. It's on the road. Vegas also knows. Absolutely. I know everybody wants an offensive head coach, but give me Brian Flores. Guy took one of the best defenses in the league, then turned him into one of the best defenses in 3 years. He's an absolutely spectacular defensive guy, and I hope he gets another opportunity to become a head football coach again in the National Football League. I like the way Brian Flores addressed his problems that he had with Tagovailoa. By the way, we'll talk about Tua. He's coming back off of IR, and I love it. I love it so much, what he said at the podium. I thought it was sensational. Okay? It shows you the love of the game. Nick is not even coaching the team. He's not a play caller. His record is a fraud. The win percentage should go to Shane and Jonathan Gannon. It should go to the organization. And the organization even thinks that. That's why they change coaches out as much as they do. No question about it. It's why they do it. Cincinnati has a better quarterback. They have two good receivers. I think they have two really good to great receivers. Okay? Cincinnati's O-line doesn't scare me. If we get to Burrow, by the way, Cincinnati's O-line is way better than the Giants. Could be some covered sacks? Maybe. All right. So here's who the Cincinnati Bengals are as of right now. heading into this game on Sunday versus the Philadelphia Eagles. They're 13th in total offense, 332 yards a game. Their pass offense is 7th, 240 yards a game. Their run offense, it's getting better, but not where it needs to be, is 28th. They're averaging about 94 yards a game. They're 9th in scoring. They average 26 points a game. Red zone offense, they're 8th. Means once they get into scoring position, they know how to put it in the end zone. 63.2%. Third down, they're 9th. 41-2. It's a good offense, man. And they're starting to get their rhythm a little bit here. That's a good football team. Hey, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are outstanding wide receivers, and the quarterback is the best QB you'll face all year. Well, to this point, he's better than Jordan Love. Joe Burrow is an absolutely spectacular player. Spectacular player. No doubt about it. Here's where their problems have been this year, and Duke Tobin, their general manager, pulled a Howie Roseman on you. You know what that is? They haven't addressed retooling the defense. Guys are leaving in free agency, and they're not doing a good enough job in the draft, and they're not doing a good enough job in free agency bringing players in. Total D, they're 22nd, giving up 353 yards. Not good. Pass defense, 21st. Not good. Haven't replaced Jesse Bates. Rush defense, not good when you're taking on Saquon Barkley. Scoring defense, 20th. 23-7. So they scored 26 points and give up 23. Close games. Red zone, they're 27th. And stopping opponents from getting in the end zone. 68.2% of the time when you get into the red zone, they score. Not good. And on third down D, they're 24th. Their problems have all been on that side of the ball. So what has to happen in this game? Controlled drives. But how does Cincinnati control the drives against the 16th ranked run defense, which is in the middle of the pack? They're not exceptional in stopping the run. They've got to get some type of play action going against the Eagles if they're going to have any shot at winning that football game. And that means Burrow has to keep the ball out of the hands of the offense and keep him on the sidelines, which he's very capable of doing. Okay? He's a great quarterback. And by the way, Zach Taylor has done a better job than any coach that's been in Cincinnati, maybe since Marvin Lewis, and maybe since Forrest Gregg. Okay, so he's done a heck of it. I mean, what was Cincinnati before? What were they before Zach Taylor? Now, a lot of that is going to be, Joe Burrow. Well, every single head coach is tied to a quarterback in NFL history. We were just showing you the list of the great coaches that have had quarterbacks and have been tied. It's funny, man. People always say this about Belichick, and I brought this up to you numerous times. I mean, these coaches are tied to quarterbacks. When you're talking about the old John Madden, Ken Stabler, Hall of Famer, Bart Starr, Hall of Famer, George Allen, didn't win a Super Bowl, but he had Joe Theismann and he had Sonny Kilmer. Don Shula, Bob Greasy, Dan Marino, Hall of Famers, Tony Dungy, Peyton Manning, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Sean McDermott, Josh Allen, Mike Tomlin, Big Ben. Go down the list here. Gibbs is the only guy with 3. Bud Grant, Fran Tarkenton, John Harbaugh. Now we're looking at Lamar, Sean Payton, Jared Goff, and Matthew Stafford, Bill Walsh, Joe Montana, Tom Landry, Roger Staubach. Goes on and on. every single head coach that's ever been anything in the NFL has been tied to a quarterback. That's the narrative. And what you have in Philly is you have a mediocre head coach and you have a mediocre quarterback. That's why you don't hang around the rim every year when it comes to winning Super Bowls. You were never in a contention last year for that thing. You're barely in it now. There's an argument whether you're going to win the NFC East still. And because you came off of Cleveland and New York, you're feeling a little better about the team. I'm not. This is the same shit we went out last year on when you were 10-1. I told you you're not that good yet. I told you were not that good, and it turned out to be true. You were not that good. All right? Not that good. So Cincinnati is going to be a test. They're going to have to get pressure on them. By the way, when you hear Vic Fangio talking about the defense, funny. He sounds like me. You know what's crazy, Xander? I say it. 4 or 5 of you get pissed at me. Vic says it. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. He says the same shit. Same stuff. All right. Eric Allen will be with us at 3:30. Please hit the like button. Super chats go to the top. Okay. So let's talk about Nick Sirianni. I went back and listened to his press conference. And as I said, the word salad machine was in high use the other day. By the way, he said on WIP, we're a run team. Well, they should be. They're second in the NFL in rushing. You're not a passing team. I wonder how A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith feel about that. So if you're a running team, why would you pay receivers $51 million? That's a lie. That guy went on the air and said they're a running team. When you have almost $100 million. No, you do. You have $100 million in 3 players. How are you a running team? The money doesn't equal that. How are you a running team when you pay one guy $35 million, the other guy $25 million, and you got a quarterback that makes $51 million? How in the world are you a running team? Barkley, get this. You know what Saquon Barkley is doing to the Eagle management? He's bucking the trend. I don't think they thought he'd be that good. But they're winning games because of him. And you know what they're being forced to do? Give it to him. They have to give it to him. Because you know what everybody in the media and all of you fans will say? The guy's fucking in the same area code right now with Derrick Henry and leading the league in rushing. And you're going to go away from that? That's incompetent coaching. And it is. That guy's forcing their hand. He's forcing their hand. You want to hear something crazy? Saquon Barkley has never gotten out to this start in his entire career. In his entire career, he hasn't got out to this fast a start. Okay? Prince says it's funny how everyone said Saquon wasn't an impact player because he's never been. He never lived up to being the second pick in the draft. And people go, well, wait a minute. He was on a sorry-ass Giants team. Okay, Derrick Henry was on a sorry-ass Tennessee team. And he carried that team to the AFC Championship game with Ryan Tannehill. And I give it to you, Prince. They did not build a team around him. This is the best start. I want to take a look at something here on Barkley too, by the way, because I think Barkley might be on the same pace that Derrick Henry is when it comes to being a 2,000-yard rusher. I don't think he's ever rushed for 1,400 yards or more in his entire NFL career. I don't think he has. He's got to be on pace up there for 1,800 yards. Yeah, that's what it is. He's on pace for 1,864 yards. Henry's on pace for about $2,000. Okay? He's on pace for 14 touchdowns. Derrick Henry's on pace for about 24 touchdowns and 2,000 rushing yards. Without a doubt, okay? Without a doubt, he's having an impact season. Sills, I don't want to talk about the Canes right now. A.J. Brown had them in the AFC Championship game. No, not A.J. Brown. A guy with 60 catches had him in the AFC title game with his, 900 yards catching? Are you under the impression, David, that A.J. Brown put great numbers up in Tennessee? He never did. You fucking drunk? The most he ever had was 68 catches and like 1,100 yards one year. Most of them were pedestrian numbers. They were terrible. Not terrible, but they were pedestrian in Tennessee. He didn't put up big numbers. Derrick Henry put up 1,900 years. Okay, so when you're saying that A.J. Brown put them in the AFC title game, that's an absolute fucking lie. He was a non-factor on that team in so many ways. By the way, Tennessee didn't know how to use him. Tennessee did not know how to use him. So once he got away from them, that's why the general manager got fired. Seals, when you pay an O-line like ours and have a running back like Barkley, why not use them to their strengths? It could open up more options to put into the RPOs or play action. Abe, common sense, yes. Okay. Seals, Saquon, that's a great topic. Let me ask you, that's a great topic, Trevor. I really like this. Seals, Saquon Barkley might be the best thing to happen to the Eagles, making them question the analytics. That's right. It makes them bring back the RPO. Hey, Trevor, do you agree with me that Barkley's start to this year, where he's on pace to break the all-time franchise rushing record, has put the analytics people and the offensive coordinator and the head coach kind of on the hot seat? You better use them. You better utilize the O-line, and you better utilize the back, because the guy who's having the best year so far in the Eagle huddle offensively is Saquon Barkley. Why in the world would you go away from that? Why would you go away from that? Why in the world would you go away? Why would you go away? I'll make this point to you. Let's throw this out there. You think Saquon Barkley could be a bigger impact this year than A.J. Brown? He is right now. He is right now. And that would make them run the ball more. That would make them run the ball. Okay? Guys, please hit the like button. Eric Allen will join us. Eagle Hall of Famer at 3:30. Hopefully one day Pro Football Hall of Famer will join us. Let's continue here. He made a comment about Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. As of right now, October 22nd, they look like good picks, especially Mitchell. This is what you get here with Nick, where Nick lies for the front office and Vic tells the truth. And I'll make the point to you here. Someone brought up the fact that Jordan Davis only had 12 snaps. 12 snaps for the third. Get this. 12 snaps for the 13th pick in the NFL draft. 12 snaps, and he's healthy. That's absurd. Fifth-year option. Are you out of your mind? Fifth-year option. You got to be kidding me. I wouldn't pay that guy nowhere near $6 million a year. He's not worth it. I can get a turd to play what he's doing. He's a non-factor. And Nick goes, it's just the way the game played out. So he's a rotation piece. Dude, like I said, when you're an elite player, you get rest. And you get rest and all the reps. You're not a rotation guy. You're not a rotation dude. This guy here is not living up to anything. Hey, let's take a look at him and go into the Eagles. Let's take a look at what he's done so far this year and take a look at what his numbers are on the season so far for the 13th pick in the NFL draft and what he's not done for the team here. Let's take a look at them. And let's take a look at their stats here. Here we go. Jordan Davis has 9 tackles, 1 sack, 3 TFLs. Here, Milton Williams has the same amount of tackles, 1.5 sacks, 3 TFLs, and he's a 3rd rounder. Booker has 12 tackles, 0.5 sack, 2 TFLs. Jalen Carter, 14, 3 sacks. That's pretty good, actually. I mean, right now, let's see what Carter's trending to and what he's trending. He's trending to 8.5 sacks. I said that number. He'd be around that number, 8.5 sacks. Jordan Davis is a turd. And he should be a topic of conversation with Howie. Howie, here's another busted draft pick, along with Derek Barnett. No question, Nick, without a doubt, likes what he's seeing when it comes to Jalen Hurts and setting the protections. I thought that was a good comment. But once again, not really anything, to say the least, when it came to any kind of breakdown here of what you were looking for. Okay? Let's get to Vic Fangio now. By the way, please hit the like button, guys. Super chats all go to the top. He said that Quinyon Mitchell wants an interception, comes up to him all the time, and is working so hard to try to get his first INT. He wants it. He loves the way the guy's work ethic is. And he loves the fact that the kid is really playing a lot of snaps for him. This is the interesting part here. I think Vic Fangio just absolutely does not like Bryce Huff. He was asked a question about Nolan Smith. And Nolan Smith, this is what he said, continues to improve. You know, he's not the biggest guy on the planet. He's not the biggest guy. But, you know, he had a play in there where he showed some power moves. And at the end of the day, he's showing improvement. When they brought up Huff to him, he said this. You know, he had moments, you know. And he looks at him like I did. Xander and everybody. And I don't blame Xander, and I'm not picking on him, and I'm not picking on John or anybody else. Vic wasn't impressed with his game this past week against the Giants, and nor was I. He had a sack. He got around the horn. He's a rotation piece. You paid him $18 million to be a rotation piece. So you got 2 rotation pieces, the 13th pick and an $18 million guy. That's kind of sad. I mean, Bryce Huff is a non-factor on your defense still to this moment. And what you guys are clinging to is hope that this guy's going to turn it around here. That's not how Vic's talking. Because when he talks about someone, okay, when he talks about someone on the team that's picking their game up. Okay? I mean, this guy has nothing good to say about Bryce. I don't think I've ever heard him say anything good about him. Sidney Brown. I love what he says. The guy needs to practice more. Before you find a role, that means someone has to come out. And what's his role? I don't know. I don't either. Is he going to take Gardner Johnson's spot? Probably. I told you, that's probably their dream, and their wet dream is to have him replace Gardner Johnson is awful. The money that you invested this year, Howie Roseman, has been a colossal fuck up. The $8 million you spent on Gardner Johnson is worthless. The $18 million you spent on Huff is worthless. The 11.2 you're paying James Bradbury, look at the money you have with no production. Huff, Gardner Johnson, and Bradbury. All that money that you spent are whiffs. They're whiffs. Chip and Bird says that Gardner's a cornerback. No, he's not. He could never get on the field in Philly or in New Orleans as a corner. He's not a corner. He could never get on the field at corner. Get this. Here. African Surf says you're not going to change our minds on how he stopped trying. I don't have to change your minds. All I have to do is point out the failures. I don't have to point. I'll just point out the failure. And you can gloat over it, or you can ignore it, or you can try to make it into a positive all you want. Bryce Huff's an $18 million failure. Gardner Johnson is an $8 million failure. James Bradbury's an $11.2 million failure. I don't care how you slice it up. What? Bradbury's not playing. Huff's non-factor. And CJ stinks this year. Whatever. Those are all Howie moves. It's not about changing your opinion. It's about pointing out his failure. I mean, not that hard. By the way, anytime African Surf, you bring up Howie Roseman in defense, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. That's a fact. This is what he said about Cincinnati. Quarterback, wide receivers, top-notch players, some of the best in the league. Run game is getting better over the last couple weeks. Hey, by the way, get this. Here's another comment. Someone asked if Jordan Davis is handling his role. Vic Fangio goes, yeah, he's handling it. He has to. Because he's being, get this. Can you imagine sucking so bad that you have to be put in a role of rotation because you never lived up to what you were drafted to do? And you have to deal with that. That's what the reporters are asking him. And Vic goes, yeah, he's dealing with it. And he's fitting right in. He has to fit in or not fit in or move on. Hey, that at the end of the day is a reality check for Jordan Davis. Son, you're not that good. You're a rotation piece. Vic tells you who you are with your playing time. It's a fabulous method. I don't have to holler at you. I don't have to scream at you. I don't have to really get in your ass about anything. Your playing time's going to dictate it. Booker gets more playing time now, and Milton Williams gets more playing time than Jordan Davis. I see someone put Doghouse in here. Doghouse? You're in the proverbial lack of playing time doghouse. That's where you are. Not praising Chip Kelly, but Chip knew Howie was a meddler and couldn't identify talent. That's why he wanted him across the building. Hey, Jan, I'm going to bring this point up to you, and I know that this is always a sore spot. Brian Kelly got rid of Deshaun Jackson, and he got rid of Shady McCoy. 2 years later, they won the Super Bowl because they were trying to clean out the roster and get out of those contracts and you won a Super Bowl without those guys. Those guys were not going to bring you a Super Bowl. They weren't going to bring, and they didn't. Those guys are great Eagles, great players, signature players in the franchise's history. But just like Kansas City, think about this. Kansas City got rid of Tyreek Hill. If Kansas City can get rid of Tyreek Hill and win a Super Bowl, the Eagles can get rid of Shady and Deshaun Jackson and win a Super Bowl. That's exactly what happened. Hey, that is not a friendly comment or a topic, but it's true. Facts are reality. Facts were the reality. Sills, Rams and Vikings are in serious talks for Stafford. How we jump on this as soon as possible. I'm sending Hurts, Bus Davis, and a bologna sandwich right now. The Rams, moving off of Stafford, they just restructured his contract, so they're easy to move him right now. They're getting Cooper Kupp back, though, this week. Could they deal him before the draft? Or, the trading deadline? Boy, moving a franchise quarterback like that at the trading deadline, I mean, that would be a reach. But desperate teams do desperate things, okay? So potentially, we'll see. We'll see, okay? Hit the like button here. Let's continue here. How about this? Someone asked him about Bryce Huff. Yeah, I'm seeing little improvement. Your $18 million project. He's seeing a little improvement. He's seeing little improvement. Jesus. Would you really ever want your coach talking about you like that? I see very little improvement. I mean, you got to be kidding me, right? I see very little improvement. I mean, I see a little improvement. He's concerned about Cooper DeJean being on special teams. Should be. Kid's a good player, though. I want to play him in every single position I could possibly play him. Quinyon Mitchell. This is a great compliment. He's getting better and better and better every week. This is a guy that drafted Patrick Surtain, who I consider one of the top corners in the game, and he drafted him in Denver. This is really a great sign. In a position that has 62% failure rate, corner, you may have yourself a corner for the first time in 25 years, or since Howie was drafted. It'd be the best guy that they drafted at corner, okay, in Howie Roseman's time. Every other corner he's drafted has been a bust. This could be the best that he's drafted. The kid looks good and continuing to get better. Do veteran quarterbacks pick on him? By the way, Burrow will be going at him with Jamar Chase. Bobby Taylor was not drafted by Howie Roseman. Yeah, so once again, try listening, Real Zeal. Okay? Howie Roseman. Okay? And know this. Once again, their failures in the draft have been on defense in the draft and Howie's picks. Okay? Flexen says one draft doesn't make. No, it doesn't. And his quarterback comments about quarterback factory is a joke. What quarterback has he developed into being a superstar quarterback? They're shooting stars, then they medal, then they blow them up, then they trade them. And Chip and Bird says just defense. Yeah, pretty much. Andre Dillard and Rager are all covered by other good picks on offense. Yes, it's true. He does a nice job on the offensive side. He also does a nice job, like I said, in pro personnel. I think he finds other people's mistakes and he brings them in or makes trades. Seals, they're going to line up Chase on Slay because they are seeing he's underperforming. Well, John McMullen said it on the pregame show that Slay doesn't really, if he is going to be the guy, but he's going to be the one traveling. And I don't see them traveling. So Chase is going to move all over the field, in my opinion. I would like to see DeJean and Brown in the backfield, see what they can do. I know they spent money on CJ. I want to see my rookies play to see what they have. Polsky, I agree. Prince, visit the locksmith if you want to borrow. If you want to borrow. Visit the locksmith if you want to borrow. Play on words, I'm assuming. Okay. Dude, you don't have anybody to lock that guy down. You got to get pressure on him. You got to move him around, Prince. You got to move him around. You got to get him off his point. He's one of those quarterbacks that likes to get to a spot. I'll tell you this, that Zach Taylor guy does a pretty nice job. He does a pretty nice job at moving him into position for him to be able to be his success. He does a nice job with that. So it'll be interesting. Kellen Moore now. Mitchell? Probably. Kellen Moore said that Barkley and Hurts are working together, and without a doubt, those guys are having great conversations week in and week out. It was asked to him, Kellen Moore, about Devontae having -2 yards. You know what I love about it? He goes, yeah, that's just the way it worked out. Can you imagine Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle or Stephon Diggs or any of these guys, A.J. Brown? Shit, he bitched about the Giant targets. And he still had his catches and his yards. And he was still bitching. Get this. He was still bitching, got the majority of the targets. And here's a guy that had -2 yards. And get this. You hear nothing out of him. You hear silence out of Devontae Smith. He's such a fucking pro. He's such a pro, man. What a pro. It's absolutely great. Such a pro. Dude, Pickens too, right, Crowley? Shit, Pickens moans and he's the primary target guy. Shit. Forrest says something of a wet dream here. Imagine Marino in this offense. He'd throw for 800 yards a game. He'd throw for 800 yards. Devontae's a role model for these young players. Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody has to step up and be a leader on that team because Hurts and AJ aren't leaders. So Barkley will have to step up. Barkley, I think, has stepped up. Eagles still suck, though. Matthew, what team you root for, my friend? Let me guess, the Ravens. They looked good last night. Okay, hey, that's a good take right there, too. Smitty's a role model for older players. He's a role model for everybody. He's a great leader, dude. There's no question about it. I did not think that guy was going to be able to hold up. And by the way, one of the things that Kellen Moore said that was cool, he goes, you should watch him on film in the run game and how he blocks in the run game. He goes out there and he is, without a doubt, he goes out there every game, and every time we ask him to do something, that guy is there and he does it. I love the guy. Honestly, the only person who hasn't showed up is Jalen Hurts. Smitty's depending on Jalen. The injury kind of too, Prince, you got to kind of give him a little bit of a pass. A little bit here. You see the video of Barkley who let the young kids eat? I saw the video. I thought it was cool. I reposted it on my Twitter page. I thought it was cool. And I thought it was cool of Sirianni. Going over and asking him the way he did. And put it in his lap because, let the young guys eat. I thought it was a great leadership role. Seals, I was expecting Kellen to be much more innovative. Very underwhelming. Is that because we're still looking at Sirianni's crap offense? No, it's because your quarterback is not who you think he is. AJ will fold when adversity hits. I don't think his attitude gets in the way of that. The only thing that his attitude gets in the way of is just the way he talks, making it seem that his targets are just as important as wins. Okay? Is your football mindset who should the Eagles take light that they play this season? Not sure what you're talking about. Umberto Sills, would you think Nolan Smith has given himself more time now with his recent uptick in production? Yes. That's a great take. Umberto, that's right. You build equity up. Thank you, Mike. 200 likes. Way to go, guys. Let's keep it going. Thank you. Hey, Umberto, that's a spectacular take. Absolutely. That's how you get yourself back into graces with an organization. You start showing production, guess what they do? They start showing faith. And they start doing that in playing time and starting. That's why Booker is getting more reps than Jordan Davis. Is because Vic is getting more comfortable, and so is Clint Hurt with Booker over Davis. Production is making the depth chart here. And I love this because you know why? Just because you were drafted first doesn't mean you're starting. It's a great way to coach. Sills, it's not the coach. Jalen can't see the field. Sills, it's not the coach. Jalen can't see the field. Yes. He can't read defenses. Okay? He can't. What team should they take light as a team they play this season? Nobody. They can't take anybody lightly. They don't have a football team to take anybody lightly. They're underdogs against Cincinnati going into this game. Big Sil's run game will bring back the RPO and play action. Clairvoyant. I think Barkley's forcing their hand, which means the one-read pass will happen. Jalen, wide receivers will get better because of Barkley. Correct. Get this, Clairvoyant. You had 2 Pro Bowler running backs the last 2 years, DeAndre Swift and Miles Sanders. You think there's any coincidence to that? That team was based off of running attack? Dude, the quarterback has not gotten better in 2 years. And I can't believe people don't see that. Or how about this? Refuse to fucking say that. He hasn't gotten better in 2 years. I don't know why you can't say this. Nobody in Philadelphia will say that the quarterback hasn't gotten better in 2 years. He's not gotten better. Hey, Bob, you think that guy's gotten better? Even Prince is saying the only guy that hasn't showed up has been Jalen. Jalen Hurts has not gotten better in 2 years. Where are you, Bob? Here you go. So it's the best weapon we have to stop Burrow and Chase is our running game. Yes. The Cincy team is too talented to let them stay on the field. They're close to a breakout, and it can happen against us. That's what Vegas is saying. Vegas is saying this right now, Bob. Bob, I can't believe that Cincinnati is favored over the Philadelphia Eagles. I can't believe that. Okay? Look at this guy. Stills, you idiots are so narrow-minded. Barkley needed the Eagles as much as the Eagles needed him. Saquon Barkley never lived up to the talent that he was drafted in New York. End of story. Well, Sills, they didn't build a team around him. That's not his fault that he went to a shitty organization. It's what happens when you get drafted. I got drafted to the Bucks. You think I wish that I got drafted to the 49ers back in the day, or the Rams, or the Steelers, or good teams? When you're a draft pick and you're at the top of the draft in each round, you go to shitty teams. You go to shitty organizations. Hoping that hey, how about this? Let me show you this. Hoping the Eagles win enough to keep Sirianni. How about this? Do you think Joe Burrow turned around the Bengals? Mike, hey, do you think Joe Burrow turned the Bengals around? Cincinnati Bengals have been a train wreck. He went to a shitty team. He was the number 1 overall pick. He's made the Bengals better. The one common denominator, they've always had decent receivers. TJ Houshmandzadeh, Chad Johnson, Carson Palmer, quarterback. I guess. No defense. Joe Burrow gets there to go to a Super Bowl. Goes to 2 AFC championship games. You think there's any coincidence to that? When healthy, the Bengals are a formidable team? Or no? Or you idiots think that just happenstance? Great players turn great organizations around. Sills, what will it take for Laurie to recognize that running the ball will get us a better chance to the Super Bowl? In 17-22, we are dominant in a run game. Isn't that funny? Both those teams that won the NFC were dominated by the running backs, but the owner, again, has this infatuation that he wants to have Tom Brady because he's in love with New England, or he looks at now Kansas City. You know one thing I'm going to say about Andy Reid? Okay? And you guys tell me if you agree. By the way, Sylvan, thank you very much for coming aboard. I appreciate it, brother. Just hypothetically, if you could, who would be a great fit at quarterback for the Eagles in your opinion? Josh Allen. Kyler Murray. I'm not saying this one, but thanks, 304. Mahomes. Jordan Love. Like that. Those kind of guys. Let me say this about Andy Reid here. The Kansas City Chiefs are one of the best organizations in all of football and have been since Lamar Hunt. Anybody with a freaking arm is Xander's take. Kyler Murray won a ball game last night, kid. Hey, by the way, Andres, Jalen Hurts is not better than Kyler Murray this year. Kyler Murray's getting better. Kyler Murray's getting better. He's getting better. Lamar Hunt in Kansas City has always been a great franchise. Been a great franchise. Andy Reid's made him better. All the shit that he did in Philly, he's taken to Kansas City and made him better. Okay? He has. Look at this guy. What's Kyler Murray's record, Sills? It's under 500. He happens to work just like Joe Burrow for two of the worst owners in all of football. The Bidwells and the Browns. Yeah. And they're still competitive and winning. I mean, when healthy, he won 11 games in a division with Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, and Pete Carroll. He's pretty good. By the way, dude, Jalen Hurts hasn't gotten better in a year and a half. Stay it with me, Sean. Hey, Sean, Say it with me. How many people in here believe that Jalen Hurts has gotten better in a year and a half? How many people think he's gotten better? I'm the only one saying this because everyone's afraid. How many people believe that Jalen Hurts has gotten better in a year and a half? That's why you pay a guy $50 million? Hurts looks better when he does less. That's quite a comment, but true. It's a great take. Sileo Hurts has not gotten better, but this might be the first time in his career where he's learning traditional quarterback skills. Bob, hey, you know the football IQ that he is missing takes time to develop. Well, then why'd you pay him $50 million if you know that he lacks these skills? Bob, why would you pay for that when you know he can't play the position? Why in the world would you do that? How about this? Do you think the Eagles win in spite of Hurts? If you had any other competent quarterback that could throw you out of trouble who has 2 turnovers, dude, you can't have turnovers because you won't win. Patrick Mahomes could have 10 turnovers in a game and win. You have to play a clean game to beat the Browns. Think about that. You got to play a clean game to beat the Browns. Crazy. Even Vegas is like 3-4 Bengals are better than you. How about that? Vegas and Atlantic City are saying the 3-4. You know how all you guys post the record and all that stuff? It's not the people with the money think. The people with the money think a 3-4 team's better than the Philadelphia Eagles. What's that tell you? What does that tell you? You're overhyping the 4-2 like you did a year ago. Some of you are going down the same route as a year ago. Do you understand this? You're going down that same Titanic shipping lane that you did a year ago. Well, we're 4-2. People with the money look at you and think a team that's 3-4 is better than you. Eagles, one of 3 teams interested in Cooper Kupp. Why? You need help on defense. 10-1. I've never seen a quarterback not see open guys in his line of sight. Yeah, like Barkley, you're talking. You even heard Mark Sanchez go, he was wide open and Hurts held on to the ball too much. 3-year starter can't see guys waving their arms 8 yards away. Mikey, I know. He's just not as talented as people think he is. And I've never thought he was. Seals, the following are some of Howie's shit moves in the past 2 to 3 years. Morrow, Cunningham, Bird, Huff, Davis, Bradbury, Gardner-Johnson, Taylor, Kaiser, Bradley, Marcus Epps, TJ Edwards, and more. A lot of personnel to let go like that, man. Devontae on the play before the 4th down TD was wild. Smith was wide. I know, man. Guy's ridiculous. Can you imagine that, though? Hey, Bob, think about that. Vegas thinks a 3-4 team's better than you. Sills, I wouldn't have paid him $50 million if I knew we wouldn't have kept the scheme he was succeeding in. But they built him up instead of rebuilding him. He'd be better off. Absolutely. Absolutely true. Absolutely. Instead, what they've done is, Bob, you're talking to me about skill set stuff that he still has to learn because they're trying to teach him something else. I mean, come on here. All right.